It's the Geek Cave Podcast's live annual Extra Life Marathon for Children's Miracle Network. Donate now to help your local Children's Miracle Network hospital at geekcavepodcast.com. Now, here are your hosts, Darren Wright, Justin White, and Chad Savage.
Welcome, everyone, to Geek Cave Live. We're starting a few minutes late, but you know what? We were just talking that it's never an extra life without some kind of boondoggle. But one cool thing is that we've raised more than $2,400 so far for Children's Miracle Network hospitals. Yeah. So thanks to everyone for that. And if you are new, if you're watching for the first time, whether you're watching live or on our other our channels like YouTube or whatever later, this is completely unhinged for Geek Cave. We don't have like a set format other than just we're going to do the best we can. And before I hand it off to Justin, just to show you what game we are playing this particular year, if my software catches up to us, that'd be great. We are playing Moving Out 2. And Moving Out 2 is, it's a fun one. Especially if you, I don't know, are coordinated in any way whatsoever. I've put us up on the screen.
Me out.
So, all right, well, it's live. We're rolling. Welcome to the comic segment. Justin.
I'm Justin.
And I'm Chad.
I'm Darren, yes.
Extra life, extra life, extra life is here. Now that Halloween is past, let's spread some Christmas cheer. Hey!
Thank you for that.
Thank you, Halloween, for being the last bastion of safety before Christmas.
Yes, Mariah Carey has officially begun to thaw, and the world as we know it will end. Welcome to comics.
I don't want
Love for Christmas.
You can
Whap!
You can hear it. You can hear it. She's coming.
Anyway, we're sponsored by Gamefly with membership options for every budget, plus gifts for gamers of all ages. Gamefly has thousands of titles that you can keep as long as you want, and when you're done, just send it back in the post as paid envelope for a new one. Or keep it forever and pay a lot less than in-store prices. Sign up for your free 30-day trial using the link at geekcavepodcast.com. So, here we are at Extra Life.
Yes.
And as Darren said, we've raised over
$2,400, yep.
I almost said 1,000, which would have been amazing,
oh my gosh.
but not quite.
Yeah, if Wizards of the Coast wants to help out, that'd be great. I don't think they are.
If any big corporation wants to help out, hi. We are but lowly podcasters trying to put good in the world.
But enough about us.
So, Darren.
Yes.
You got anything?
Yeah. Hose me down.
Be gentle.
Be gentle.
Be gentle.
Be gentle.
It's Darren's first time.
I told you be gentle.
This is Darren's first time, the segment where I pick up a comic or graphic novel from a series that I've never read before, and I ask myself, is this one hot, or am I just coming down with something? So for this month, I went with Midlife, which has the alternate title, How to Be a Hero at 50. And before I get into it, again, another reminder, you can be a hero anytime by donating to the Extra Life effort at Children's Miracle Network. All of the details are in the link near the top of the page at geekcavepodcast.com. Now, originally launching in October 2023, Midlife, guys, is about a firefighter named Ruben, and he is afraid of fire. Now, disclaimer, Justin, I hope this is okay, but I did not pick up issue number 1 of this book.
What?
Yeah. Stay calm.
Lucky we're doing this for charity.
Stay calm. Stay calm. I picked up issue number 2. The first issue wasn't available on Hoopla, so I started with issue 2. But luckily, it seems that the only thing I missed is the event where Ruben apparently becomes invulnerable to fire. He just saved a small dog from a fire. He's sitting in shock when other firefighters reach him. They are apparently amazed that he's unhurt. In kind of a daze, Ruben later calls his wife and lets her know, hey, there was an incident at work, but he's fine. And he proves this to himself by resting his hand on a stove burner that is indeed on, but he doesn't feel any pain. After that, Ruben called up his 2 best friends to let them know that he's going into the hero business. It seems like a rational thing to do, right? His mask is an old-style firefighter helmet passed down through his family. The rest of his costume designed by one of his buddies, who just so happens to work on superhero movies for a living. He does get to test out his superhero abilities pretty quick because there's a fire that threatens to envelop a horse ranch nearby or something, and one of the owners is trapped as well. Now, it's at this moment Ruben learns there's something else about his powers. He's not fireproof. The fire is afraid of him. So it's not like he's fireproof necessarily. It's that whenever he gets close to heat, it just retreats. But, he does manage to save the woman and the horses. The fire gives him a wide enough berth to get out safely. He takes off. The young woman he saved is approached by a couple of men in black types. They show her a photo of what looks like a monster, and then they ask if she saw the thing. She says all she saw was the guy who saved her, and it looks like now they have a lead. This book is okay. I get what they're going for. It accomplishes what it needs to. It made me interested in how the story was going to go, even though I don't know if I'll keep going. But I didn't feel lost or anything like that. The art is okay, nothing groundbreaking. Characters are realistic enough, and I do kind of hate both of Ruben's friends. So there's that. So overall, the midlife is a solid okay, if that makes sense. It's less exciting than some, more of a safe bet than others. Like that person that you would bring home to meet your parents, as opposed to the really exciting biker gang member that you met and tried to date earlier. That's where this book falls.
All right, thank you. Chad.
What?
Do you have anything?
Well, I've been reading different Geek Cave stuff and reading Green Lantern stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess I have a stupid question.
Oh, there are no stupid questions.
And now it's time for Chad Savage's stupid question.
What exactly is a poozer?
Well, I think a poozer is like a poser, but the problem is I don't know linguistics of whatever race Kilowog is. So, I took it in high school, but that was years ago, and I failed the class actually. So I'll get back to you.
Okay, thanks.
Did you read anything?
Oh, sure I did. Besides the Green Lantern stuff, so there is a store near me called Ollie's. And Ollie's is an incredibly dangerous store because they will sometimes have graphic novels for very cheap prices. And so for like $4, I bought Batman Killing Time.
Okay.
So Batman Killing Time by Tom King is decent. That's about as good as you're going to get from me. It's decent. Killer Croc robs a bank at the same time that Catwoman threatens a bank manager at a different branch, at the same time that Riddler robs that bank manager's vault. And at first it all seems to be arranged by the Penguin, but then when the Riddler treats Penguin to the Jason Todd experience, things are off to the races.
Ooh.
And along the way, we have Batman trying to solve the crimes, face off against someone who's a better fighter than he is, despite being like 88 years old. This is supposed to take place like a year into Batman's existence, or like a year and a half kind of thing.
Okay.
Right after Batman Year One comes Batman Killing Time.
Gotcha.
Eventually, he teams up with that guy who also trained Ra's al Ghul. It's very unclear what's going on with all this. And they team up to try to stop a giant criminal gang war with the various villains of Gotham that's going to take place against the government of the United States. Yeah, you heard that right. The villains of Gotham are going to go to war with the United States government. And it's all told in this non-linear fashion that means it must be about Clock King. And when that happens, the twist doesn't feel all that twisty. But the story, again, it's decent. And it's short. It doesn't overstay its welcome. And while the twist is a mile, visible mile, it's pretty well played. I'm giving it like a B Like, it's a good enough time to be worth reading once. But unless you're buying it for $4 at Ollie's, get it from Hoopla.
Duly noted. Darren, do you have anything else you want to talk about?
I did not read anything else, unfortunately.
Well,
He's been fighting with a game controller for the past 12 hours, my friend.
It has been an interesting time.
He has been, yes. Well, I guess it's my turn. Let's get into our second look.
The first time was good. The second time, even better. Maybe. Turn the clock back as Justin takes a second look.
So, for this month's second look, I was going to talk about something that I had actually forgot existed until a few months ago. I kept having flashes in my head of a sentient Superman statue. And one that looks sort of like Superman, but not. Think Jack Kirby, but drawing with his non-drawing hand. So, still decent, but not quite.
All right.
And as I was doing a Google deep dive to try and figure it out, I found it. The Best of DC Blue Ribbon Digest, number 59 from 1985. It's one of those reprints, in digest form, and it contains 3 comics. The one I'm going to talk about is a reprinting of Spectacular Superman number 5, The Second Coming of Superman. I will say this is sort of cheating, because once I got a hold of the copy, I realized I never actually read it as a kid. I just looked at the pictures. Because I'm like, I don't remember this plot. Or after reading it, I blocked it out.
There you go.
Yeah. While Superman is on a trip to Earth's past 1 million years ago, he prevents a giant waterspout spawned by cosmic rays from destroying the Earth. Unnoticed by Superman, his actions inadvertently grant immortality to the Quokkas. Quorxa.
The Quokkas.
Yeah. Alien refugees inhabiting an invisible island city. Over time, these aliens come to fervently worship Superman as a god. In the present, a Quokka scout witnesses the rise out of the ocean of a giant Superman statue created by the undersea city of Tritonus as a gift for the Superman Day festival in Metropolis. The sighting is taken as a sign of the second coming of their god, and so they send a woman, Ryla, as an emissary to seek out Superman. While in Metropolis, she causes problems for the confused Superman and his friends by, creating an earthquake and such.
Chad, let's throw it.
Okay.
There you go.
Hey, it's out
Keep
of the
going.
house. When she discovered that the Quokkas are losing their immortality, she brings Superman back to the city to help. He unsuccessfully tries to convince them that he is not a god. Meanwhile, Lex Luthor has discovered the city and steals their holy book and seeks out Brainiac for help. Yeah, we get 2 big villains in this one.
Ooh.
And this is when Lex Luthor was wearing that purple shirt with like the cross things on it,
the suspenders.
bandoliers, and
Yeah.
Brainiac looked like was green with the 3 dots on his forehead, and
Classic.
yeah. Anyway, they recreate the cosmic waterspout in order to drain Superman of his ectoplasm and superpowers, because that was a thing in the 70s. When Superman is seemingly killed, Brainiac betrays Luthor. What's a twist? Planning to use the waterspout's energy to power a shrinking ray that will shrink the entire Earth. Superman is able to reabsorb enough of his ectoplasm and superpowers from the S-shaped holy symbols carried by the Quokkas, and is able to stop the shrinking ray. They're immortal again, inadvertently restored by Superman's actions, add his latest triumph over the villains to their holy book. I mean, there are 2 other stories in this digest, one where Superman, Supergirl, and Krypto join up to memorialize the destruction of Krypton, and one where Superman tries unsuccessfully to restore the bottled city of Kandor. The plot of Second Coming is okay, But my biggest issue was that the print was so small. My eyes have never been great, and they've only gotten worse with age. And I actually got a headache trying to read this thing.
Wonderful.
Oh, man. If you see the issue, The Second Coming of Superman, in a comic book store, pick it up. It's not that bad. If you see the Blue Ribbon Digest and you're over the age of 40, don't.
Okay. No, I mean, you won't see it.
That's true. Well, no, you'll see the book, just not the print inside.
Yeah.
So once again, I want to thank our sponsors, Gamefly. Be sure to check out our other shows, the gaming segment tomorrow, the movie segment the day after. There's also You Want Me to Watch What, and the second and fourth weeks of the month. And eventually we'll get back to a week 3 podcast. There's also some stuff on our YouTube channel, and be sure to follow us on social media. All of our links, including how to donate to Extra Life, are at geekcavepodcast.com. And also, as a special treat for our podcast listeners, which is not going to air on the Twitch stream, I'm sorry, we are going to have a special 4th segment with a special interview I did. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And now, here's your out-of-context comic panel. We see Norman Osborn leering over Peter Parker's shoulders, and he says, "My car is outside. We need privacy."
Okay.
And Peter says, "I have a croffle coming, Norman. That's a croissant waffle. Not missing it." For Kent, our Captain America. For Darren, our Spider-Man. For Chad, our Wolverine. I'm Justin, our dupe. And this has been the wonderful world of comics. And remember, everyone's a geek for something.
Doop.
Dupe!
All right.
You have power. The power to save lives. The power to defeat illnesses. The power to use games for good. You can be a hero for local sick and injured kids through Extra Life, a 24-hour gaming marathon that supports a local Children's Miracle Network hospital in your community. Join 50,000 gamers from all across the world as we battle the enemy, illnesses, and injuries facing local kids.
Play games, heal kids.
Find out more at extra-life.org.
And we have a special guest at the cave today. We are joined by the founders, creators, artists, writers, colorists, producers, HR people, everybody from Tricon Comics. Hi, guys.
Hey. Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Specifically, I am talking to John Contini. Say hi.
Hello there. I'm John.
Jason Contini.
Hello, I'm Jason.
And Nate Contini.
Hello there.
Now, it's my understanding this is no relation. This is all just weird that your last name is Contini.
It's just irony. Yeah.
What a coincidence.
Yeah. No, you guys are a father and sons trio.
We are.
Yep.
And
Hence the name Tricon.
Aha.
Yeah.
All former convicts. This is really cool. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So, before we start talking about your book, why don't you kind of go through individually and tell us, like, how you got into comic books? Like, what has been kind of like your inspiration growing up and reading the media?
Well,
I have to start.
Yeah.
Let's go in order.
We'll figure
chronologically.
start at the dawn of time here.
Yes. Well, 70 years ago, I grew up probably reading Marvel comics more than anything. Although when I was very little, I started with the DC comics. And in fact, it was my dream to be a comic book artist. That's what I always wanted to be. And I used to copy the comic books that I saw. I drew them over and over again. My brother and I, who has passed away, created our own comic characters. Never did anything with them, just drew them for ourselves.
Well, you guys, you wrote scripts for me. You had a full universe.
We had the scripts. We had a full universe, multiple characters, 8 or 9 titles that he would write them up and turn them out, one a week. And I wasn't that fast at drawing, so not many of them got created. But I used to create all the characters. I drew all the characters myself. And we had a lot of fun with that. Never did anything with them, just kind of put them in a shelf until years later when I brought them out for the kids to see. Mm-hmm. And so I guess I always wanted to, getting back to that, I always wanted to be a comic book artist, but got into theater instead in high school and then in college, and majored in theater arts and got my degrees in theater and speech and education, and did professional theater for 50 years. And now I'm getting back to where I began.
All right. That's awesome.
It's like a full circle.
Yeah. I used to do the same thing when I was a kid. And I still do sometimes. I'll grab a comic book and I'll,
copy it.
Copy it, look at it for inspiration, and draw it myself. And I had several crappy comic book characters that I created when I was a kid.
Well, we all did.
Yeah, but that's cool. I'm glad to know I wasn't the only one.
Oh yeah, we're a breed.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Well, I guess if we're going chronologically, I guess I'm next.
Save the best for last.
Oh, is that how it goes? Well, obviously, I got into it primarily because of him, because he would bring home comics. When he would go to the store to get his stuff or go to the shop and get his things that he was reading, he would pick up a random Superman comic or something and bring home for me when I was younger. And plus, when your dad's got all of the original Marvel comics in the basement, it's kind of hard to not get into it. And I too, the same thing. I would practice drawing and copying and figuring out style and that. Plus having a dad who is an artist, he can help show you. And but very much like him, I ended up going into the theater and film route, and focused on that much more for a long time, until I'd say about 10 years ago, when we made a film about comic books, basically a film called 4-Color Eulogy, that uses some of the characters that he drew back in the 60s when he was younger. And it's a film about family and creating comics and all this, and that kind of reignited the comic book creation bug, I guess. And then around the pandemic, started drawing again, and now I've again like him have come full circle with it and back into it.
That's awesome. That's really good. Now, you said he's got all the original Marvel comics. How's that Amazing Fantasy number 15 holding up these days?
Not anymore.
Yeah, that's a sad story. That's a sad story.
Yeah.
Several years
You
back,
had one?
I did not have that, but I had Fantastic Four number 1.
X-Men.
Oh.
And all of those. I had Fantastic Four, the first, 300 issues. Yeah. Never missed a one. And a few years back, I sold my collection to, I won't mention any names, to someone who never even finished paying me for them.
Oh, no.
This was before the MCU.
It was like back in the 90s, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah. And I sold them for a good price at that time, but if I had them now, I could probably retire.
You're already retired.
Yeah, but not living wealthily.
Not retired to the level he wants to be retired.
Yes.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, so that's a sad story.
As for me, a lot of what they say you can copy and paste. The old man here got me into comics, just in general, but I distinctly remember basically learning to read on comics. There was a time that my father sat Jason and I down at a table, had brought out one of his old box of books that he just wasn't hanging around to anymore, and he took one issue out, put it on the table, took another issue out, put it on the table, and these are all the Green Lantern runs from the 70s, late 70s.
Oh, okay.
We put two out on the table, and he'd go, Jason, you pick one. Now, Nate, you get the other one. And then he put two more out, and he goes, Nate, now you get to pick one. And Jason, you get the other one. He did that for like his entire long box.
Wow.
I have no memory of that.
Oh, really? Oh, well, I just think
vaguely.
I remember because I was just learning to read during all that.
Yeah.
And that's where I really learned to read, was reading those old Green Lantern. It was the one even when Green Lantern had that little like star alien, like not quite Starro, but he had like a little star flower alien that would travel around with him.
Oh, wow.
We're talking Hal Jordan with the sideburns and the flop and everything.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yikes. Okay. Good in 70s Green
Oh,
Lantern.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's my biggest thing. And then I kind of veered away from comic. I've always drawn. I've always tried to do comic. In fact, I took the online Kubert course once. I never finished it, like a bum. But I took it, and I did some of the stuff for it, and I got some feedback from them. And then throughout the years, it just life and working. And Jason and I had sent off a few submissions to stuff that never got back. Like we did.
Yeah, that's right. We did submit to Archie to try to revive the Mighty Crusaders a number of times. Actually, we've tried that. Yeah,
and we had a comic that we self-published many years ago that never really went anywhere. But none of them really felt like they had the legs, I think, like this book did.
Yeah.
And then,
well, you needed the dad.
Yeah,
we were missing a piece.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can't form the Megazord without all the pieces.
This is true. This is very true. So, why don't you guys tell us a little bit about TriCon itself, and then this book, Crypt of Heroes, which I gotta say, I got an advanced copy of number 1, and it's good, guys. It is good.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm a huge monster fan. So this was fun to see them kind of in a hero aspect other than the just, terrorize the village and stuff like that. Yeah.
It's funny. It actually, the whole thing comes out of, as Nate was just saying a minute ago, years ago, we tried to do this once with a comic that we had co-created with a friend of ours, Nicholas Hearn, called Legacy's End.
Who's actually one of the writers.
He was one of the writers of that, and he's co-writing Frankenstein Core, one of the stories in book.
Okay,
back here in a second. We were doing this book, Legacy's End, and I had this idea for some characters that I thought, this would be really fun to add in, but it didn't really fit the comic that we were working on, and I thought it would be really cool to have a team of Frankenstein monsters. Various different, because there's always different takes on the man-made monster. And so I started to kind of draw some of it in the background, but it never kind of fit. And at the same time, Nate has always had this Mummy Man character ever since we were kids.
Yeah.
And and it also never really kind of fit. And so that's really kind of where it starts. But years later, we thought, well, what if we take these and do a universe of them, of monster-inspired, horror-inspired characters.
A dark universe?
Oh, yeah, right, yeah. And we were starting to kind of develop that and get that together about the time when, when Dad started drawing more again. He started getting back into drawing, and we thought, well, why don't we bring him in, and the three of us can kind of create this thing and develop it and see what we can come up with. As a result, we knew we needed to have some sort of a company banner for it, and it just seemed to make sense. I mean, Nate, I think you're the one that came up with it, or is he?
He's the one.
Oh, Dad came up with it. Okay, Dad came up with it. It made sense. TriCon.
Okay.
Plus, it has kind of a monstrous sound to it.
Yeah,
that's true.
It
does.
Like
yeah.
a mythological creature, a tricon. What is that?
It's
nothing. It's 3 continues. That's all.
It's funny when you guys first mentioned it to me. I immediately went on Google, going, "Tricon, what is that from?" Because it sounded like something that I've heard that, right? Haven't I heard that? No, I didn't. I'm an idiot, but
Well, that's really cool. So. This first issue, it deals with, like you've mentioned previously, Mummy Man, the Frankenstein Core, and Madame Inferno. Why don't you kind of tell us a little bit about those characters in this first issue? You don't need to spoil anything or anything like that. Just a brief overview.
Sure. We'll go with so in issue 1, it starts with the Mummy Man story. Mummy Man is a character I developed. Like Jason said, I've always been fascinated with mummies and Egyptian history and all that, and I've always wanted a mummy superhero, so I started coming up with he's kind of a tragic Shakespearean character, a lot of problems with his brother. Trying to come
now, does this stem from real life?
No comment. No, he's a tragic character who's had problems with his brother, and then there's a whole thing where they make deals with deities and have been battling. They battle for centuries, almost, it seems like, and basically, and then they get mummified, and Mummy Man is brought back to the present day. And we're kind of another thing is Captain America is one of my favorite superheroes, so we're kind of doing a hero out of time as well with that. Someone who's trying to learn the new world while also protect it from his brother.
Okay.
And I guess actually that's a good time to kind of mention that the structure of the book Crypt of Heroes that we came up with was it would be a complete shared universe in one regular title. So, you don't one of the things that we always had issues with is that, you go and you read the most recent crossover event from Marvel or DC, and in order to follow what's going on, not only do you have to read 7 or 8 tie-ins every month to understand it, but you have to have read 6 other monthly titles beforehand that lead up to it to follow it, and it's too much. And maybe there's only 1 page in an issue that actually means anything.
You're spending $100 a month for one story,
just to follow one story.
Yeah.
And so the idea here was that everything is in one title. It's every issue is 3 10-page stories, and they'll rotate as a story ends. A new character will come in and be introduced, and so. That was something that we really wanted to try to focus on to make sure that it was always accessible and easy. And as we started to build the world, it added more to the Mummy Man character.
Yes, definitely. I can't go into detail.
We don't read it. Yeah, we don't want to go into too much. We don't want to spoil stuff, but it connects. We started to find connections with some of these other characters that we've created for the universe, and how we can kind of weave them all together. And it helped develop the Mummy Man story a lot. Mm-hmm.
That's a really good idea, and I like that because I too hate the I got to get the 7 main issues of a story plus the tie-ins and
plus any extra miniseries they put out.
Exactly. That's why I love when they finally release an omnibus of a story.
Right.
It's got everything, but they're so expensive and heavy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, this will be everything in all one story. Every character is going to be in one comic that you buy. It'll be bi-monthly, and all this will lead after 12 issues. Will be our biannual.
But stories will alternate.
Yes, they'll alternate.
A new character will be brought in, and that character's story, perhaps for that month, we'll sit it out, and the new guy comes in, and then the next issue we bring the other one back in.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we can give an example.
Alternate. Yeah.
So, for example, issues 1 and 2 will have Mummy Man, Frankenstein Corps, and Madame Inferno.
Okay.
Issue 3 will have Mummy Man, Frankenstein Corps, and we introduce our first new character, Bigfoot.
I was going to say I saw that in the liner notes. I'm excited about that because I'm a huge cryptid fan, so I'm really interested on your take of how that's going to play out. I like that.
Oh, good.
But yeah, and then obviously issue 4 will be another new character being brought in, and we're going to continue every couple of issues bringing in new characters. Not to overwhelm. I think the last new character shows up in issue 9.
Something like that,
8. Yeah. But then all of this will tie together after 12 issues and lead to a big crossover, Avengers-level crossover.
Probably 7 or 8 major characters.
Something like that.
Something like that,
yeah.
That'll all team up and fight this big fight that we've been building in the background and sometimes in the foreground throughout the year. Or 2 years, rather.
And that's really cool.
And that the talking about the characters that come back and they may miss an issue or they may miss 2 or 3 issues or an arc and then they come back. Probably the 2 most prominent of them would be Mummy Man.
Right.
He's really kind of structured to be our Captain America or like an anchor character of sorts, like a primary hero. But then the secondary one would be Madame Inferno.
Yeah.
Which came about. Actually, it was your idea,
loosely,
I believe, because you wanted to do something with Dante's Inferno.
Yeah.
So he tossed it to me when they came to me and said, "We want you to help out with this," and he gave me Dante's Inferno, and I've always been a kind of a fan of the epic poem, at least the first part, the Inferno part, not necessarily the other 2 parts, but. And all the different film versions and things that have been done about it. But not a whole lot has been done. So I did the research and went back and studied all about Dante and found out about his wife and his mistress and his sons and his daughter. And the daughter's name was Antonia. And that's where we came up with the idea that she would be the central character.
Okay.
She is Dante's daughter, and she's still trying to get Dante out of hell. That the poem itself wasn't probably even written by Dante, but someone else to clean it all up, so to speak. And now we're telling what really happened.
This is the
real story of Dante
Right.
and his sons and his daughter and the multiple characters in the Inferno, starting with Virgil, the poet, the Roman poet, the Aeneid, Virgil, who is Dante's guide in Dante's Inferno. He becomes a major character in our comic line too.
Almost Antonio's guide.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, very much a
and a warrior himself.
Yes.
Yeah, very much another one of our monstrous like superheroes.
Yeah.
Like, he's definitely one of the main
Think
players.
War Machine to Iron Man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank goodness for public domain characters, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So, and you got a major villain there, since Lucifer is in charge of hell. Maybe he'll come along someday.
Yeah, we might do something.
Ooh, possible spoilers. I like it. So this issue also features the Frankenstein Corps.
Yes.
Yeah, the Frankenstein Corps. That's the one that I've been putting together, and that's and I've since been co-writing it with Nicholas J. Hearn. We've been developing the characters, and like I said earlier, I always thought it would be interesting to have a team of man-made monsters in kind of the vein of like the 80s animated series cartoon, like Voltron and Mask and all that kind of stuff, where it's the self-contained team against one adversary as kind of the springboard anyway. So you've got your bride-like character who's covered in wrappings and in Bella, and you've got your loner character that is more based off of the long hair, long coat wearing versions of the Frankenstein monster that you see in Lee. Yeah. You have a patchwork man who's a lot of different pieces put together, and Cheney, and he can remove different pieces of his body and control them remotely. And then you have Elsa, which is the cyborg. So a remade human cyborg. And the initial storyline follows this group that called the Frankenstein Corporation, which is kind of a corrupt, kind of Luther Corps kind of a thing. Oh. And they are trying desperately to find Victor Frankenstein's original creature, because whenever they've tried to replicate the experiment, all they can do is create the body, but the body still has to be remote controlled. So all four of these monsters, these Frankenstein creatures, are being operated sort of remotely. They're called necro avatars, and so they're being remote controlled by other soldiers in the Frankenstein Corporation, and they're trying to find Victor's original creature so that they can figure out what was it that made it work. And all I'll say is that they find him, but I'm not going to say what happins.
Do you want to say his name?
Oh yeah, his name is Boris. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, all of the Frankenstein Corps, they're all named after actors that are somehow connected to
playing
Frankenstein monster movies. Yeah.
I did appreciate that. Yes.
Yeah.
So, without going into spoilers, what's something you're really excited for people to see or read in upcoming issues, or even in this first issue?
This first issue, I'm really excited to finally share not just Mummy Man, but all three of them with people, and to be able to actually nerd out and geek out with everyone on social medias about it and all that, to really, or even at conventions when we're talking to fans. And I love geeking out about current comics, and I would love to geek out about my own comics and hear people's fan theories on where they're going, and instead of being the one going, oh, I could see that, being the guy going, oh, that's what you think. Well, that's interesting. But as far as future issues, I'm really looking forward to, obviously, Bigfoot, which will be drawn by John and written by me. And then, written by both of us, actually. Yeah, I wrote it, and he said, no, let's change this. But yeah.
Keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, but we got Bigfoot coming. And then we have a few other heroes coming that I'm really looking forward to share with everyone. I don't know if you want to reveal any of the heroes coming.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's
throw out a name.
There's one in particular that, there's two that I'm very excited about. One that John and I have been working on together, but then, and I'll let him talk about that if he wants, but another one that I've been developing called Ichabod. And I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail on that because that's probably the one I'm most excited about. But I will say, it is connected to the Legend of Sleepy Hollow, and we'll leave it at that.
And that has piqued my interest.
Yeah.
The one I'm excited about coming up after Bigfoot is Medusa.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, I don't want to give details, but she'll be making her debut in issue 6.
Okay.
And another little sneak peek would be a character, I would say, is called Trawler Man.
Trawler Man, okay.
And he sails a ship and he collects souls.
Kind of a ghost ship.
Ah.
And that's all I'm going to say about him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he'll be coming soon. He'll be coming in issue 4.
Yep, issue 4 is the first appearance of Trawler Man.
Yeah, in fact, you'll see him on the back cover of issue 3.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Ooh. Well, gentlemen, this all sounds amazing. And like I said, I read the first one and I loved it. I am excited to see what comes next.
Thank you.
What is the best way people can either connect with you online or in person?
Yeah, so like I said, we're on all this. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Blue Sky, so anyone can find us there. We're creating a YouTube channel for some trailers and shorts as well that they could find us. Behind the scenes stuff that will be there. They can comment there. We also have our website, cryptifheroes.com, where they can find us there. We've got information for events, character bios, and newsletter signings.
And then as far as how to get the book, obviously they can go to the Crypt of Heroes website, as he said, cryptifheroes.com. And you can buy all the copies there, all the issues as we put them out, again, bi-monthly. Or, the other thing too is go to your local comic shop. Talk to your comic shop and see if they, if they have interest in getting it and carrying it. And have their comic shop contact us, and we'll send it out to them. We'll get it into the shops as well. So,
and we'll also, if you prefer to read digitally, we will also have it available on Global Comics.
Yeah, and I do like Global Comics. They are not paying me to say that, so
but they could. You'd be happy.
They could. They could. Yeah. If you're listening, and you're probably not. Yeah, that was actually going to be my next question. Where can people get this? And I love the fact that it's not just digital; that you can get a physical copy of this as well. That's awesome. Because
we all grew up with physical. I mean, there's something about having the book in your hand and smelling the pages and all that.
Yeah. I mean, when you're talking about comics, you're talking about a collector. It's hard to collect a digital file. I mean, I know that's out there and that is a thing, and so of course it is an option. But it is a comic book.
Plus, when we're all famous from this book, we can't go signing people's iPads and such.
Well, you could.
Well, yeah.
Well, gentlemen, that's all the questions I had. Thank you again to John, Jason, and Nate Contini of Tricon Comics, and again, the book Crypt of Heroes. At the time of this release is out now, issue 1.
It is, yep.
So
came out last week.
Yep. So check it out digitally, in person, check your local comic shops. If they don't have it, ask about it. And thanks for joining us today, guys. It was fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Your local children's hospital is full of superheroes. Superhero patients. They wear gowns instead of capes and often fight evil on a microscopic level. And just like the doctors, nurses, and staff, you can help decimate illnesses and enemy foes for sick and injured children by gaming. Join Extra Life, a community of 50,000 gamers that play games and heal kids. Register at extra-life.org.
Welcome to the 2025 Geek Cave Podcast Marathon for Children's Miracle Network Hospitals through Extra Life. Big thank you to our sponsor, GameFly. Thousands of titles that you can keep for as long as you want. Membership options for every budget. Just keep the game and then send it back when you're done, or keep it forever and pay a lot less. You can get a 30-day trial on our website, but I digress. We're doing it for the kids. And by the way, before we get too far in, I have winners to announce, because we are giving away prizes.
I'm Justin.
And I'm Chad.
Yes, I'm Darren. I'm busy. It's a live podcast. Anyway, let's see. He's
supposed to be the professional one.
He is.
Wheel of Names. I have a wheel of names. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but this way...
Wheel of my enemies. Turn, turn, turn.
This way we can pick winners without me feeling someone's going to accuse me of being unfair. So, Box of Comics from our friends at In Stock Trades. $50 value, JB and Teresa Young. Got that, and all you have to do is donate any amount to be entered into the drawings. We're going to do the gaming drawing right now. GameFly trial subscription or a $50 gift card to the gaming online store of your choice, whether that's PlayStation Network, whether that is Nintendo eShop, whatever, is Norma Eris. So congratulations to Norma, and we will have the movie segment with its own prize coming up in a little bit later on. All right, so video games. That's what brings us all here today. Last time I checked. Chad.
Yo.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Demo Derby.
It's been a while since I played a demo on the Switch, so my spouse found me the game Old School Rally. So first off, this game looks like it's come straight out of the late 90s, early 2000s. And by that, I mean that it is gorgeous, colorful, a bit pixely, and overall just a pleasure to look at. None of that Gran Turismo polish here. We want a car that looks like it can take on a brick wall. That works in its favor, because boy howdy did I run into brick walls. And wooden walls. And trees. And hillsides. There may have been a cow.
May.
The demo gives you 3 tracks and 3 cars. So you have a minimum of 9 time trials to explore just to get some feedback into how the different things work together. And even after those 9 times, you can replay tracks to try and beat your own time, because the time trial is the only thing really available to you. No rallies to engage in, and quite honestly, I think I'm happier with that, because I don't like racing against other things. I like racing the clock. That makes me feel happy. The music, it doesn't quite fit the levels. It's a little too soft, a little too laid back for what are some tremendously difficult courses. There's no map. You don't have a mini map in the corner telling you what you're doing or how you're going to do next. There's just a voice that shows up like a rally, you know? That's like easy right, hard left. You know,
okay,
hairpin turn.
Like Sega Rally Racing.
Yep, very much. And that voice, it sounds like it's coming from the 90s. It's beautifully done. It's an enjoyable demo. I don't know if the full game is going to reach my console, but I thoroughly enjoyed my time in the demo. It is a love letter to old rally games of the PS1 era. Think Colin McRae Rally from 98. All right? The play is buttery smooth. The voicing's clear. The tracks are hard. The visuals are perfect. And maybe the game, but definitely the demo. It is absolutely worth your time.
All right. Very cool. Well, Justin.
Yo.
What did you happen to get up to? First of all, did you play anything?
Yeah, actually, I have a very brief review of the game I played for Extra Life.
All right, well, let's get that first.
So I played a game called Murdered, Sole Suspect, because I wanted something creepy for Halloween.
I played BioShock for that same reason.
Nice. You play as Ronan O'Connor. You're dead.
Well, bummer.
You die in the opening cutscene. And then you play as his ghost.
Even better.
And in order to move on to be with your deceased wife, you have to take care of unfinished business, which is finding your killer, which happens to be a notorious serial killer that you, who are a cop, have been tracking for months. He got the better of you. He threw you out a window, you barely survived, and then he shot you with your own gun. Because reasons. I've played the first 3 hours of it, and a lot of it is hunting for clues and trying to piece together the mystery, with a little bit of action involved because there are demons that try to eat you, and you have to sneak up behind them to get them. So basically, you sneak up behind them and go, giddy, 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 and you can disperse them. So I don't have a full review, but so far it's been challenging enough to where it's been interesting. The storyline is interesting. The gameplay is fun. Just challenging enough to keep me entertained.
Okay. Have you been spending any time on, the Reddit space?
Oh, yes, I have.
Okay.
So, as many of you know, I don't get to play many video games except around Extra Life, but I have a wide breadth of knowledge that I think is useful for the video gaming community. So I go to Reddit's Ask Games to find questions that I think deserve definitive answers in a little segment that I like to call
Ask Justin. The Geek Cave podcast and its associates, including Justin, do not condone the advice given in this segment.
Thank you, Nigel. So this month's question is, do you believe the console war is over? Over? For some, sure. Others like me that lived through the 1980s, it's still going. I was there at the beginning. Sega fired the first shot with, Sega does what Nintendo don't. Cute, right? Wrong. That one sentence turned friends against each other. Recess became a landmine field. A casual visit to your BFF could turn into an all-out brawl. You don't know what hell is until you've looked over at a pile of circuits and glass that used to be your mama's entertainment center. And it wasn't just friends against friends. No, buddy. Family relations were strained too. We're sorry, little Timmy. We couldn't afford that Super Nintendo you wanted, but we got you a Neo Geo instead. Poor Timmy. I could still hear his sobs if the night's quiet enough.
That was a journey.
I don't often like to disagree with you. I am going to say that, for some it will never be over. But with Halo reaching PlayStation,
it's over.
I'm pretty sure it's over.
Nintendo is like Switzerland. They're just doing their own thing right now.
Mm-hmm. Just because a war's ended doesn't mean the scars disappear.
Fair.
Oh, lovely.
If I smoked, I'd be taking a drag off one right now.
All right. Well, I have a couple of reviews, so let's go ahead and get into those. I picked up, through Gamefly, Ghost of Yote, the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima. I really liked Ghost of Tsushima, samurai-type game. This takes place a few hundred years later. And, it starts off super quick. As in, moments into the game, you find yourself, watching this little girl get her whole family slaughtered, and she's getting pinned to, a tree with a sword.
Aww.
And next thing you know, you're playing as the adult version of her who's tracking down one of the killers. And so Atsu, that's the main character. She has definitely a bit more of a sardonic wit than Jin from the first game. The gameplay is a very satisfying loop, which I would expect from a game made by Sony. But I don't know. It's one of those where, when I'm playing it, I'm having a great time. And I definitely think that it is better made than Ghost of Tsushima. But at the same time, I don't know if I would say it is a better game than Ghost of Tsushima. I would probably put it even footing. Does that make sense? You know, where it's like, okay, it's good. I've played almost all of it. I've put, 50 hours in, and I've enjoyed it. But I do keep finding myself asking, like, how much further do I have to go? How much more? When am I going to be able to finish this game so I can move on to another game I'm working on? So, I don't know. I got mixed feelings about Ghost of Yotei. I do enjoy it. It's just, it's one of those where I went from, like, I'm going to pre-order this to I'll get it through GameFly. And now it's, I don't know if I'll keep it after I'm done with it. Chad, do you have a Monster Minute?
I do.
Okay.
I was taking a look at some stuff. We got D&D. I like D&D. All God's children love D&D. So in 2016, Volo's Guide to Monsters introduced the Archdruid. It was a CR12 character that is equally adept at being a boon or a bust to the party. In the 2024 rules, the Arch family has been given a couple more siblings. I've talked about the Arch Hag, but for ones that aren't necessarily enemies, we have the Archmage and the Archpriest. Both CR12 editions. The Archmage sports some fairly low hit points with only 170, but he is immune to the Bard's psychic attacks, and he can't be charmed, which makes the Bard a little bit less useful in there. They make 4 magical attacks per turn, doing force damage each time, which nobody, including the Barbarian, can take half damage on. At will, they can cast Detect Magic, Detect Thoughts, Disguise Self, Invisibility, Light, Mage Armor, Mage Hand, or Prestidigitation, and they have access to level 7 Lightning Bolt, 11d6 damage, or level 9 Cone of Cold for 12d8 damage, just to start.
That's a lot.
Now, for his own part, the Archpriest is easier to hit with like a 17 AC instead of an 18, but he's harder to kill with 240 hit points. And the Archpriest makes 3 Radiant Burst attacks per turn, doing 4d10 plus 5 per hit, or 20 to 27 points, which doesn't seem all that much. But they also have access to a Holy Word attack that throws out like a 20-foot emanation, doing another 21 radiant damage. Never mind, they have all the battle healing one may want. Here's how I'd use it. They would be a couple. I would use these two in tandem. I want them to be this old married couple that have adventured for years, and they squabble and they snipe at each other, but heaven help the party that tries to get between them. They could make an excellent quest giver when the party's summoned to their home on the outskirts of town. The villagers are all just like, oh yeah, that's Connie and Cornelius. A bit daft, but generally good folk. Just don't insult either one of them, or you're going to be in for the fight of your life. And you'll probably find yourselves picking up the pieces of your loose-lipped friend before you know what happened. So, Archmage, Archpriest, sound like a lot of fun. Go to.
Okay. All right. Well done, Chad. If there's no further business.
It was created by a madman. Ignored and rejected. Every week it grows. We cannot kill it, for it does not live. Step fast and be wary, or you may fall victim to Darren's Pile of Shame.
So for those of you who are unfamiliar, you're joining us for the first time, either on our live stream or on Spotify or whatever. Here's how this works. This is the year of PlayStation. And every year, I picked a different theme and I run with it. And so every month, I decided in honor of PlayStation turning 30 and Nintendo creating their own worst enemy, that every month I would look at a PlayStation title, either an exclusive or remake of an exclusive, as long as it started out its life as an exclusive for the PlayStation or PlayStation family. And I've had some ups and downs, but because of Spooky Season, I picked a scary one. I picked the best of the original trilogy of Resident Evil games. We're talking about Resident Evil 2, ladies and gentlemen. So, Resident Evil 2 was released on the PlayStation 1 in 1998. I'm also playing Resident Evil 2, which released on the PlayStation 4 in 2019. Yeah, I did both the original and the remake, just to see how things... Just to see. So, both are made by Capcom, both a part of a trilogy that really cemented this brand before they completely changed the gameplay in Resident Evil 4, and then changed it again in 5 and 6, and then changed it again in 7, 8, and 9. But I digress. The storytelling was great for this trilogy. Like, it told a coherent story. And it leads into Resident Evil 4 with one of the main characters, Leon Kennedy, a rookie cop. He's dealing with a goddamn zombie apocalypse on his first day. First day, it's a zombie apocalypse. Great.
Of all the things to deal with on your first day, I don't think a zombie apocalypse is the one I want.
No.
He's too old for this shit.
I want there's too many people working, so everything's slow.
But not only that, but you also get a second playable character. There are two playable characters. Claire Redfield, she's the sister of Chris Redfield from Resident Evil 1. Both of them find themselves in Raccoon City, just trying to escape and save whoever they can in the process. Spoiler alert, they're not good at saving people. They save maybe 2 total. This is a Midwestern city in the mountains with a population of at least 50,000. So, wow, good job, guys. But hey, it's not your fault. It's the rats. More on that in a bit. On the way, they learn about how the science experiment gone wrong, which happened in Resident Evil 1, which took place just a few weeks prior. So this sequel picks up pretty soon afterwards in a nearby mansion. And it ended up causing a lot of problems for everyone involved, with run-ins involving giant mutant alligators, sexy Asian spies that might be working for the feds but also might just be mercenaries. It's never quite clear. Lots of zombies and other assorted types of body horror. Hey, have you ever seen a guy with a giant arm and an eyeball coming out of his shoulder?
I can't say that I have.
Nope. Yeah, I wish I hadn't. But that's just the synopsis. So let's get to the good, then we'll get to the bad. And really, it's a mixed bag for both of these, but I'm just, spoiler alert, I like it. I like Resident Evil 2. So, like I said, this is the best of the trilogy, the original trilogy, when it comes to terms of gameplay mechanics. The remake, by the way, one of the best action games I've ever played. So, if you like action, you like spooky stuff, Resident Evil 2 remake, go ahead and get it. It usually goes on sale for like $20 or less on Steam or on the PSN or Xbox. Leon and Claire, I think, are great protagonists. Both are likable. Their interactions with each other are believable. The story builds directly off of the first game in ways that make sense and continue to be completely bonkers.
I'm stuck.
Mr. Oh, yeah, Justin is stuck in a room right now.
I'm literally stuck in a room.
It's a push. All right, where was I? Oh, yeah, Mr. X. Are you familiar with Mr. X? Not Professor. Mr. It's this big, angry guy in a trench coat who's, like, practically unstoppable. He's also called the Tyrant. Depends on which version of the game you're playing. Great looming threat. There were times where I would legit be afraid to leave a room because I knew he was out there.
Seeing if we can throw
because I could hear him stepping around out there. I knew he was out there. The story's good in both. Slightly better in the original. They cut some things for the remake in order to like streamline the process, that kind of thing. But yeah, the remake is how I would recommend people play it nowadays. You don't have to worry about the tank controls, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. It's where you move forward by pressing up on the D-pad, and to turn you have to stop, and your character turns in while standing, in place, and then you move again. So it's like you're driving a tank. I don't like that. For 1990, whatever, it was fine, but now that's not good. So I do recommend the remake. And also, you don't have to worry about ink ribbons in the remake. See, save locations in this game are typewriters. You find a typewriter in a room, you can save your progress. But in the original, you also needed to have an ink ribbon so you could save your progress. So you could find the typewriter, but not have an ink ribbon, and so you'd be out of luck. So I'm glad they did away with those. All right, now on to the bad. The original's tank controls suck. I don't care if you're like, oh, it adds to the spookiness. It does add to the scariness. It still sucks. And you're wrong for thinking otherwise. I will say that the remake has its own issues. It kind of awkwardly mashes the two campaigns together. Like, you can choose to play as Leon or Claire, and they each have their own separate thing. But in the remake, you fight the same bosses. You hit many of the same story beats. In the original, you play as one character, and you're unlocking the other character's second storyline, and vice versa. And also, items you choose to take in in one playthrough may end up screwing someone else in the following playthrough. That kind of thing. Let's see, what else? Some boss fights are just kind of crap, as in unfair. The whole underground lab and sewer area near the end of the game was incredibly confusing for me. I think I probably spent like an hour wandering because I was just lost, Some of the puzzles are too easy, and some of them are straight up out of the Monkey Island school of puzzle solving. So see if you can follow me on this. You find a scepter. It's got a big red jewel on it. Then later, you find a box, and it has an impression on top where it looks like there used to be something vaguely jewel-shaped there. So you take the scepter and rip the jewel out, and then you put it in the box. And that unlocks the box, and it gives you a keyboard key, which you can then take to put on a keypad for an evidence locker that was missing a keypad earlier. And you see where I'm going with this.
No.
Yeah, well, it made sense where you're playing. But that evidence locker has a fanny pack you need, and don't forget to pick up the massive gear that you find, because you need to operate the clockwork gears in the attic later, and so on and so forth. The inventory system is both good and bad, somehow. I don't know how they manage that. Mainly because you have to go back and forth to storage boxes placed throughout the game so you can carry stuff that you need, but you only have so many pockets. It's a lot. I mean, your pockets are full of, like, grenades and various herbs, but now you all of a sudden need this handle for a jack for some reason. So, yeah. But all of the negative stuff aside, this is probably the most fun I've had with one of the Resident Evil games, the remake anyway, and Resident Evil 2, the original. I see what they were going for, and for the time period that they were working with, yeah, they did pretty good. So I'm going to give it 4.5. Who in the hell put a police station inside a haunted museum out of 5? By the way, next month for the gaming segment, we are reviewing Final Fantasy IX. Be sure to listen to our other podcasts, including comics, which, if you're listening to these after the live stream, went up yesterday, and movies, which, if you're listening to the live stream, goes up in a few minutes, otherwise, tomorrow. You want me to watch what? The Week 3 podcast, the occasional TLDR, a whole bunch of other stuff. Don't forget to donate to Extra Life. Children's Miracle Network hospitals benefit 100% from your donations. You can donate now. geekcavepodcast.com. We will be accepting donations through the end of the year. So, to close out the gaming segment, I'm going to be signing off with examples of terrible voice acting lines from Resident Evil. So for Kent, the master of unlocking, Harris. Justin, whoa, this hall is dangerous, White. And Chad, looks like the president equipped his daughter with ballistics, too, Savage. I'm Darren. I knew you'd be fine if you landed on your butt, right? Reminding you that green herbs in video games can heal you, but green herbs in real life can either feed you, poison you, or just make you high. And everyone is a geek for something.
Extra Life was born. It just occurred to me that gamers should be able to do the things they love to help sick and injured kids as well. And so the funds that Extra Lifers raise can go to a variety of purposes in the local area at the local hospital.
So maybe your extra $20 or your extra $50 goes to curing 87% of children with leukemia.
62 kids like me enter a children's hospital every minute.
And I was one of those kids. You could save their life too.
Play games, heal kids.
Shall we get into the movie segment?
Yes, please.
Do you want to get us started, Darren, and remind you that we have names?
Hey, everybody.
I'm Justin.
God dang it. I'm Darren. He's Justin. That guy's Chad. I hit the microphone. It's Geek Cave Extra Life 2025 podcast for Children's Miracle Network Hospital, whatever. We're going to name a movie prize winner coming up. Chad, go.
And I'm Chad, reminding you that reminding you that if a sequel does not use the same director or writers, it's just a really high-budget fanfic.
Elizabeth Schrader, you won the movie prize.
Congratulations!
You get either a digital code for Superman 2025 or the streaming service gift card of your choice.
Darren is announcing his retirement from the podcast.
We are done professionally.
Well, we're brought to you by Gamefly with membership options for every budget. Plus, gifts for gamers of all ages. Gamefly has thousands of titles you can keep as long as you want. And when you're done, just send it back with the postage-paid envelope for the new one, or keep it forever, pay a lot less than in-store prices. Sign up for a free 30-day trial right now using the link at geekcavepodcast.com. Extra Life is not soon, it's now. Unless you're listening to us, after the fact, then it was then. But for those listening live, welcome. We're glad to have you. We hope you donate. For those listening at a regular time, welcome. We're glad you're here. We hope you donated. Or we hope that you will donate because that page stays live through the year. So you can find the link to donate on the website, geekcavepodcast.com. That brings me to page number 2, and according to this page, Pilot Party M-Justin.
Ah, yes.
So I think that means it's you.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, Alan Jackson.
Pilot Party! Pilot Party! Pilot Party! Well, way down yonder on the Chattahoochee.
Welcome to Pilot Party, where I review an entire TV series based on only the first episode. And why only the first episode? Send in 6 box tops of your favorite Geek Cave product to get your secret decoder ring. Next month, Darren will give the secret code. Only with the ring can you decipher the message.
The code is purple.
Yes, but...
That's this month's code.
Yeah, next month's code.
Next month's code is different.
Yeah, you can't say it now. You got to say it next month.
Okay.
So, running from September to December of 1974, and based on the book series, this month we're looking at Father Brown. He's a Roman Catholic priest and amateur detective.
Oh.
Going into this, I was hoping it was a bit of a comedy. It was not.
It's not.
So the show begins with a man and a woman waking up in bed. This is not the man's house, and that is not the man's wife. The man is Colonel Braun, the local rich man and known playboy. The woman is the blacksmith's wife, Elizabeth, and she is the colonel's latest infatuation. She quickly kicks him out, but he promises to be back. Soon her husband comes home.
We either have to
Let's
throw it
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
or we have to take it all the way around. You can't move the rake.
I was trying to move the rat.
Oh. No. Anyway, soon her husband comes home. He spends his nights a couple of towns over in a prayer group. He's deeply religious and proud of it, and is not afraid to tell everybody so. As the colonel leaves, he runs into his brother, Reverend Barn. He is the priest of the local Anglican church, and they do not get along. The colonel spends his time drinking, tormenting a young man with a mental disability, and trying to get back into Elizabeth's pants. In the meantime, she writes to Father Brown, pleading for him to come to her village. She is a member of the Roman Catholic Church and wants to confess her sins. Brown shows up and takes the confession and urges Elizabeth to end it with the colonel. Seeing as he misses the last bus out of town, Reverend Barn offers him a place to sleep at the church that night. The colonel returns that evening and threatens to break down the door if Elizabeth doesn't let him in. The next morning, he's found dead outside the church. It appears as if he was killed with a single blow to the head with one of the blacksmith's hammers. Accusations fly all over the place, but Father Brown carefully and politely pokes holes in each one of the theories. After observing the townsfolk, he finally comes to the conclusion that nobody swung the hammer. It was dropped on the colonel from the church's roof, the same place Reverend Bowen likes to pray. Father Brown confronts the Reverend and urges him to turn himself in. Just as the bus arrives, Father Brown sees the Reverend surrendering himself to the police. For a 70s British drama, it wasn't that bad. A bit of stiff writing, but I've seen worse. They rebooted the series in 2013, and that one is still ongoing. Now for my predictions. Father Brown continues to preach the word of God and solve mysteries until he decides to hang up the cloth and the magnifying glass. Although this was merely a hobby for him, his American cousin Frank took it more seriously. Father Dowley's mysteries seem to cover what would be considered 3 TV seasons within the late 80s, early 90s. I give it 6 fire and brimstone sermons out of 10.
Huh. Well, thank you, Justin.
You're quite welcome.
So, I'm going to get myself some nostalgia bait on the hook. Allow me to let my line out, take some time to remind and reminisce. Possibly traumatize the things from our past. Whether they've entered the popular culture or not is disputable, but we sure remember them, probably. Let's see what's biting today. Huh. Hey, remember when Punky Brewster almost showed us a kid dying on screen to show us how important CPR is and why we should take the doors off of old refrigerators?
Yes, I do remember that, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
I got the door for you.
In the episode, Henry's Old Refrigerator, actually, it's not called that. It's like Cherry something. Anyway, in the episode, Henry, his old refrigerator breaks down, so he purchases a new one. Meanwhile, at school, Mike is supposed to be learning CPR, or Mike is teaching CPR to his class, but Alan is acting up during the lesson, and he's sent to the principal's office, so he doesn't learn CPR. Foreshadowing. Meanwhile, Henry's putting the old refrigerator outside the apartment building for the Salvation Army to pick up. The next day after school, Punky and her friends play a game of hide and seek. Henry was preparing to remove the door from the old refrigerator after buying the new one, but it started snowing. And he's an old man. He don't want to do that. Nobody wants to be taking refrigerator doors off in the snow.
No. Why would you?
So Punky, Alan, and Margot ask Henry and Betty to help them look for Sherry, because Sherry has gone missing. She's really good at hide and seek. Probably because she hid herself in the refrigerator. That this is good old school refrigerators that still had a latch that locked the doors.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they don't have that anymore. Kids these days won't know the sheer pants-crapping terror of not being able to get out of a refrigerator. Probably for the better. Henry and Alan are shocked to find her in the old refrigerator, and Alan doesn't know how to save her since Mike sent him to the principal's office during the CPR lesson. Henry doesn't know how to save her because Henry's an old man who, predates CPR. So Henry has Alan call the paramedics and get Betty, while Punky and Margot administer CPR to Sherry, managing to save her life. Sherry is out for way too long to not be suffering some kind of damage, but it's a kid's show. Alan's devastated that he was unable to help, thinking that she could have died because of him, but Henry tells Alan, don't blame yourself, even though he absolutely should blame himself. Also, Henry should blame himself a little bit because he probably should have taken the fridge door off even though it was snowing. Well, with the paramedics on the way, Sherry's feeling hungry, which is not unusual for her, and Punky thinks that she's going to be just fine because we can't have lasting consequences in a very special week.
No.
Did you guys watch Punky Brewster?
Oh, yeah.
I've seen this episode.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen this episode more than any other.
Yeah, they played it a few times.
Well, there was a point in my life where every year at school they showed this as a reason for not playing in old fridges. Not reasons to learn CPR, just reasons to not play in refrigerators, because really, given the choice between the two, a whole bunch of fifth graders are far more likely to play in refrigerators than they ever are of doing CPR.
Fair.
So, all right, moving on into the Trailer Park Roundup, where we see what kind of things are going on here. We got Murder at the Embassy, a stylish locked room style adventure mystery set in Egypt. Whoever put this trailer together, I hope they get hired a lot more often. I've not wanted to see a movie from a trailer more since the first Knives Out movie.
Ooh.
This thing looks fun. We bury the dead. Demons or zombies, I can't make up my mind. Seriously, I can't figure out what it's supposed to be. It looks like a modern gritty road movie with monsters as a woman searches for her maybe dead husband. And by maybe dead husband, I can't tell if he's supposed to be a zombie either. Psycho Killer.
Qu'est-ce que c'est? Sorry.
After a woman buries her husband, who was a cop shot at a traffic stop, things take a weird culty turn in this trailer that's less interesting and more stylized than I think I can deliver. Send help. Okay, this trailer has me intrigued. An asshole boss in the city takes his not abused so much, but definitely put upon worker on a business trip. And on this business trip, on the plane, there is a plane crash, and they're the only two to survive. Now, he's out for like a day and a half kind of thing. And when he comes to, she's set his leg. She's doing some stuff. And now the worker is the powerful one and seems to have a bit of an asshole streak in her as well. It's an interesting dynamic. Might be fun to explore. Think of it like, imagine if in Misery, right?
Yeah.
If James Caan had been the boss, for Kathy Bates, and then he gets in the car wreck and now she's taking care of him. That's what it looks like. Like, this is a justifiable revenge thing.
Uh-huh.
Primate. Primate? No, primate.
Primate.
Ben, the pet chimp, is getting real tired of your shit, Master Wayne. And he does some really gruesome things. I think. Because the trailer's so dark, I can't tell what's going on in most of it. It's like one of those movies that they made sure to film in HDR so that or high dynamic resolution, so that when you're in the theater, you can see things. But when you're at home, you cannot. Unless you're in a room like this with the light off. David. Only a boy named David, only a little sling. And then a whole lot more of David's young life. Okay, so this is based on the biblical character of David and the story. And I doubt they're going to have the stones to show he and Jonathan as a couple. Nor are they going to have the stones to show David's mercenary killing of Uriah to cover up his affair with Bathsheba. I'll watch it, but I'm expecting disappointment. Because it's a cartoon for kids.
Okay.
And
I was waiting and like, what? Why wouldn't they? Okay, because it's a cartoon.
Oh, it's for kids.
And for some reason, and excuse me, hold on. Where's that? Oh, it says Dove on the side of it. Where's that box? God, fine. But just know, I've got a whole speech.
Okay.
About my dislike of such biblical things. All right. Next one. All You Need Is Kill. That's the name of it. Time loop movie. Looks like it's taking its inspiration from Akira, art-wise. Never before have I seen a worst Groundhog's Day kind of life. Crime 101. Right after the Louvre heist, Hollywood moves so fast these days. It looks like a cat and mouse kind of movie about a dude who does heists of high value stuff. Or, if you want to look at it a different way, Bruce Banner tries to track down Thor, who keeps stealing his stuff while romancing Storm. I watched some things. Did you guys watch anything? You watch any things to be reviewed?
Just one thing that you wanted us to all to watch. Later, yeah.
Well, we'll get to the end there. Yeah. So, all right. Pretty sure I've reviewed this before, but The Martian is still good. Matt Damon surviving on Mars after a storm leaves everyone thinking he's dead. It's worth the watch. The book is better, but the movie's worth it. Solid A. Saw Elio, the Pixar.
Oh, yeah.
Elio. Boy wants to be orphaned but adopted by his aunt. Elio wants nothing more than to be abducted by aliens. This leads to him being, quote, that kid. The one that has very few friends and is just weird. After a decision that only an 11-year-old could make regarding using government satellites to send a message into space, Elio gets his wish. He's abducted right in the middle of getting a beating by some bullies. And on this spaceship, he feels accepted and everything's good. Until he volunteers to negotiate with Brad Garrett, who is voicing a warlord named like Grigon. It does not go well. And Elio learns a lot about what it means to be honest, and also quite a bit about how relationships work, with the give and take and the nobody's perfect stuff. It's not Pixar's best work. It is funny enough for me to, it kept me engaged through its 98-minute runtime. I'll give it an A-, but really, it's good, but it misses the mark on some of the relationship bits that need a bit more development to really shine.
We don't need the table. We need the
I know.
thing.
I'm moving the table so you can get the thing. There you go.
Eat the carrot. God Bless America. Okay, so again, this is one, I think I've reviewed this like ages ago, but it's been a while. A man and a teenager go on a shooting spree after realizing that American culture is awful. It was kind of funny when it came out in 2012. It's no longer funny and just kind of made me sad. So whatever my review of it was before, now it's a C-. Fright Night 1985.
Ooh.
Have you seen it?
It's been a long time.
Okay. I know that there's a remake of this one with David Tennant, and I intend to watch that one eventually. But I wanted to watch the original with Roddy McDowall instead. A boy realizes his neighbor is a vampire. His vampire's a neighbor. Thanks, Chad. His neighbor is a vampire, and he enlists the help of a late-night scary movie actor and host, like a Sven Gulli or an Elvira, except it's Roddy McDowall, to help him rid the world of such a creature. It's wonderfully funny, in the right ways, and it's something that if Justin hasn't already seen, needs to. It's an A+ movie.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. So that leads us to the random movie review. Oh, yeah. Before we do that,
I do have one more thing.
And now it is time for Darren's Trivial Trivia.
So, have you seen the Ten Commandments, the 1923 silent film version?
Not the 1923 version, no.
Okay, well then
I
this
don't
might
know
be
that
news.
anybody has.
This might be news to you. Oh, actually they have, because Cecil DeMille's 1923 silent film, The Ten Commandments, featured a massive movie set.
Right.
In fact, it was the largest set ever built. Towering plaster buildings, sphinxes, all that stuff. It was so big that it would have been prohibitively expensive to tear it down, so they buried it in the desert near Guadalupe, California. Where the movie was filmed. It's still there. It's still buried. It's a tourist attraction now called the Lost City of DeMille. You can see it right now.
Wow. Well, so it is time for the random movie review. So, Kent?
Oh, the lights are down low. The popcorn is hot. The drinks are cold. Settle in for the cinematic universe of Chad's Random Movie Review.
Next month, by the roll of the dice, I get to review The Woman in Cabin 10. This month, it's spooky season. I wanted to get these guys involved. It's Halloween. Well, we're recording the day after Halloween. And so, in honor of Popeye entering the public domain, I asked the guys to watch the Popeye horror film that came out this past year. So here's our team review of Popeye the Slayer Man.
What? No, that's
not what I watched.
That's not what I watched either.
Right. I needed to be more specific. There were 3 Popeye-themed horror movies that came out in 2025. Popeye's Revenge, a riff on Friday the 13th. Shiver Me Timbers, a riff on who knows what, with Halley's Comet making, Popeye a monster. I'll have Darren go first, then Justin, and then we'll get to Popeye the Slayer Man.
So, I watched Popeye's Revenge. It starts off with a bit of exposition, setup done via what I want to call animated flashcards. Where they don't have enough money for full animation, but they do have enough money to kind of do it. Popeye was born via C-section because his deformed arms wouldn't fit through the birth canal, He breaks his dad's finger within moments. And throughout the origin story, the narrator keeps telling us his parents could do nothing. And I'm starting to question the validity of that statement. Because, he looked like a full-ass adult when he was a kid.
Goo goo gaga.
He murdered at least one bully by squeezing his throat until his eyes popped out. That led to him being locked in the basement by his folks, who, again, they could do nothing. Eventually, the townsfolk find out about the murder, and they burn the family's house down, while his parents could do nothing, according to the narrator. Popeye is horribly burned and believed dead after he was found sinking in a nearby lake, a regular glug, so to speak. See, because he says that, yeah. Anyway, a group of YouTubers show up years later to do some filming at what is left of the house because their views are down and they're idiots. The Haunted House of Evil, that's the show that they film. I'm not sure how the house was burned down but stayed up for decades. Maybe it's renovations. Maybe the writers didn't give a shit. We'll find out. A group of YouTubers, like I said, they split up. There's 3 of them. 2 of them go to the basement where Popeye was kept locked away and naturally think this is a fantastic place for sex.
As you do.
While a shadowy figure skulks around in the background. The 3rd, slightly smarter idiot, she's walking around outside trying to get some natural sound for whatever they're filming, and within minutes is killed. And we get our first glimpse of Popeye. He stomps her head in like a grape. Meanwhile, the lovers are just about to climax when Popeye, not sure yet if it's the same one or somehow another Popeye, who I'll call Popeye 2 for the moment, shows up, punches right through the woman's stomach, she's the one on top, and just kind of gleefully, as the guy runs away, kind of watches gleefully. He plays hide-and-seek with the dude for a while, eventually squeezing his head until his eyes pop out, because that's the thing that Popeye does. Well, that was quick, because now we've got the title card. Oh, that was relatively painless, and oh wait, there's another hour of this? Okay. Screw that. I'm going to leave it on in the background while I do something else, anything else, and I'm just going to write down my stream of consciousness thoughts based on what I hear and happen to look up for. That's what follows. Apparently, the owners of the property are still trying to sell it. A few more slutty young adults are all here now. 3 of them are cheating on the others with the others. Sounds like they're all planning to go to the Popeye house and rebuild it yet again, but this time turn it into a haunted house. Seems legit. All right, apparently one of the plebes is Tara. She seems to be the leader. Her mom was everyone's first grade teacher, so they all want to help out. Tara's parents are the latest dumbasses to own the property. Oh, they hit a fisherman with their car on the way. He's fine? Gets up, tells them to stay away from Popeye's house, and they scoff. I swear to God, if this is a Scooby-Doo situation where the first person they encounter is also dressing up as the monster, I'm going to stream. They get there. Of course, there's no cell service, but there is a hot tub because priorities. Tara and her boyfriend are the only non-terrible people here. I'm sure they'll be fine. We cut to a dock where a little boat pulls in. Broad daylight. Blood-soaked Popeye gets out. Again, broad daylight. Tara's looking at a weather report and freaking out because there's fog in the forecast. Usually fog means Popeye, apparently. She's also worried it'll slow down work on the house. I'm pretty sure all of the deaths will be slowing down the work on the house. Speaking of, remember that fisherman from earlier? Yeah, now it's the dead of night for some reason. He's just minding his own business. He's fishing. Now he's dead. Popeye. Tara's freaking out about the incoming fog, so the kids agree to start the renovation work at night. Okay. Back to the parents' house. Tara's parents are talking about possibly just selling the house, especially after 3 bodies were found in there. Okay, so this happens after what we saw in the prologue. Good, because I honestly didn't know. Anyway, Tara's mom has a friend come over who's convinced that, quote, he's back, after reading an article about the 3 murders at the Popeye house. It's implied that Tara's mom knows Popeye, so that's probably something horrible that'll be revealed later. I just realized that one of the kids is named Beanie because he wears a beanie. Oh my God. A creepy woman shows up at the house. She tells them they're not supposed to be here, tells them to leave. They antagonize her. I think this is supposed to be Olive Oyl. They push her out of the house and just kind of laugh it off. Except for Tara. She thinks the woman has a mental condition, so she goes after her to check on her. She asks if she can do anything for her. The woman says she just wants them all to suffer the way Popeye did. And then she says something about how Tara is the one that Popeye is apparently after specifically. All right. And now we're at the hot tub. There's a makeout session between a couple of the cheaters. The girl, Sky, tells Nick she's tired of sneaking around and wants to tell the group the truth, especially Nick's girlfriend Donna, who's also there. Not in the hot tub, just there. He gets mad and leaves, so Sky's by herself in the hot tub. Naturally, Popeye shows up to murder her by choking her out with an anchor, but also gropes her naked boob in the process, because what's a little casual sexual assault when you're already a monster? Anyway, then he smokes his pipe, because that's the thing the character does. Beanie tries to ask one of the other girls on a date. He gets rejected, goes down to the dock to handle business, so to speak, and he gets an anchor to the dick. He also has his spine ripped out, and then his head ripped off, because Popeye is really serious about the sin of Onan from the Old Testament. At one point after killing someone, Popeye looks at the ground and sees a can of spinach. Then he smirks. Get it? That's a thing from the cartoons! Let's see. A few more murders happen. Honestly, I got distracted. My cats have been chasing each other around. Okay, so we're left with just Dylan and Tara. They're the only two reasonably good people. They're still alive. Good. Looks like they got rid of Olive. So Olive is Popeye's sister in this version? Well, that's weird. Oh, Tara just took him out with a lawnmower. Slow one. This reminds me of the steamroller scene from the first Austin Powers movie, except the director said, hold up a minute, I can make it worse. Okay, then there's a predictable, oh wait, he's not dead moment at the end. Somehow this 80-minute movie took 9 hours to watch. I hated every minute of it, except for when the anchor to Beanie's dick scene happened. That was kind of funny. There you go.
Oh, well, that sounds like it could have been worse.
I give it a D.
Ooh, a D.
For Beanie's dick.
You want me to go next?
Oh yeah, I'm intrigued by.
So I watched Shiver Me Timbers.
Shiver Me Timbers.
Set in the summer of 1986, Olive Oyl, O-Y-L, and her brother Castor Oil.
No, I got it.
Yeah. Venture into Northern California for a camping trip to witness the rare Halley's Comet meteor shower.
Stupid page.
A reclusive fisherman named Popeye is fishing in solitude when a fragment of the comet crashes nearby, lodging itself into his corncob pipe, transforming Popeye into a grotesque superhuman killer.
As you do.
As you do. As the teens settle in the forest, Popeye kills a punk named Spike, causing his friend Skits to run away. In a secluded outhouse, Popeye sneaks up on Stevie, rips off his head in a gruesome act before defecating into his body. He then skewers Trent with a baseball bat and decapitates Lizzie while they are in coitus. Olive, Castor, and Kyla scramble to formulate an escape plan. Castor nearly escapes but is caught by Popeye and doused in toxic waste. Olive then discovers Lieutenant Lang, who tries to intervene only to be bludgeoned to death by Popeye. Just as Popeye is about to murder Kyla, Skits returns, blinding Popeye in one eye before Popeye crushes his skull beneath his feet. Olive grabs the comic fragment lodged in Popeye's pipe, losing her hand in the process, and uses the power of a giant buzzsaw she finds in Lieutenant Lang's cabin to kill Popeye. Now, by giant buzzsaw, I mean the blade is almost as tall as her, and it is attached to her hand a la the Evil Dead style.
Nice.
Back home, Olive builds herself a robotic hand and utters groovy to the camera. My favorite line from this movie is, chainsaws are for children. So it's over-the-top grotesque. So it's not, like, realistic. In fact, when Stevie's head is ripped off, it is tossed away, and his head stays alive long enough for him to watch Popeye defecate on his body or down his neck, and he screams, no, which is weird because he has no lungs at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, people can stay alive for a couple of minutes after Popeye kills them, which adds to the weirdness and silliness of it all.
I do like weirdness and silliness.
Like I said, it's over-the-top gory, so it's unrealistic in that fashion. I give it a B. I'd watch it again late one night with a beer or a buddy. Or, a beer and a buddy.
You're a better man than I.
A buddy beer.
Yeah, and I watched Popeye the Slayer Man. So one night, in the beginning of this movie, 2 drug dealers are chasing a young woman into the Anchor Bay Cannery, an abandoned dockside can factory reputably haunted by the Sailor Man. She supposedly stole some cocaine from them. Why that's important to the story is never examined. As the men corner her, they are brutally killed by a hulking, supernaturally strong figure. The following day, Lex Allister, the CEO that owns the town and the cannery, meets with Harrigan, a lawyer representing a development firm planning to demolish the facility. And Harrigan is raising her client's concerns because there were some contamination reports that led to the facility's closing a generation earlier. But Allister denies everything. As their conversation ends, they smell pipe smoke. While Allister investigates, Harrigan is startled by Allister's security guard, Angus, and loses an important file folder. Chekhov's file folder. It better go off later. After Harrigan and Allister leave, Angus searches the premises and discovers the dealer's dead bodies before being killed also by the Sailor Man. Time for some more new characters. There's Dexter, a student, and he decides that he's going to film a documentary about the legendary Sailor Man before the cannery's torn down. Best choice, best case scenario, best idea is he is going to break into said cannery in order to explore it and do some filming. He's joined by his crush, Olivia, and his friends, Lisa, and Seth, who is Lisa's love interest, and Katie. They all meet and enter the factory, followed by Katie's extremely jealous boyfriend, Joey, and his henchmen, Jesse and Terry, because what is a high school populated by 30-somethings if it doesn't have a group of villains? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you need villains. What else can you do? So, and the reason that they're followed by Joey, Jesse, and Terry is because Joey is convinced that Katie's having an affair with Dexter. So they all get in there, and while Katie stays behind to link the surveillance equipment to Dexter's video cameras, the other students all split up into pairs to explore the building because they've never seen a horror film. Back to the lawyer, Harrigan. Why are we coming back? That file folder. It now. That file folder is coming back now. She looks for it, and she finds it just in time to be caught by the Sailor Man, who first pulls her hair off, scalping her, and then crushes her to death with the plant's canning machinery. It's to make sure that Chekhov's gun of her lost folder went off, right?
Yeah.
Also, she doesn't deserve this death at all. She's not trying to hurt anyone. She's representing buyers. This is like the lady from Jurassic World that gets captured by the pterodactyls and tossed through the air, eventually being eaten by the mosasaur.
Yeah.
Is like, she didn't deserve that. It's an unjust death. Same thing here. Back to Dexter and Olivia, because if there's anything this movie knows how to do, it's to not stick with any character for longer than a couple of minutes. Dexter and Olivia find an internal report file listing a contamination of the spinach that was processed in the cannery due to dangerous cost-cutting measures implemented by the factory's owners. A fact which was concealed from the public, of course. Rejoining Seth and Lisa, they continue their exploration. Even though now they have all the information and data they need, all they got to do is leave. And they've got an expose. Not just an expose, they've got a full-on cool documentary school, student film. But that's not what they're going to do. They're going to keep going around. Now, Katie's the first to encounter the Sailor Man. And while fleeing from him, she runs into Joey and his companions. Sailor Man kills Jesse and Terry after they attack him, and Joey runs away. leaving Katie behind. Because, he's an equal opportunity. He's a feminist.
Yeah.
We'll go that. He's also ridiculously abusive, and it's problematic. But he later retrieves Terry's handgun, and he accidentally shoots Katie in the side after thinking that she is the Sailor Man because the Sailor Man had let her go. She's innocent. She's not trying to do anything. Good job, guys. That was a miserable level. Miserable.
Moving out, too. Sometimes it's fun.
Now, when the Sailor Man returns, Joey once again abandons Katie to his mercy. He shot his girlfriend thinking she was the bad guy, and then when the bad guy shows up, instead of shooting him, he runs away, leaving his now gunshot girlfriend that he thinks is having an affair with somebody else on the ground. Now is time for the Sailor Man to begin stalking the other students. So while trying to flee to the roof, Seth, he takes a fall and accidentally dislodges several metal bars, which fatally impale him. It's okay because we don't know anything about him. Is that a Super Nintendo game?
Nintendo 64.
Oh. Huh, cool. So he dies, and fleeing from the approaching Sailor Man, Lisa attempts the same escape, but she falls and she lands on Seth's corpse, which, I'll remind you, is impaled by a bunch of iron bars. So it's gruesome and it's funny, but it's mostly gruesome. Dexter and Olivia find Sailor Man's quarters. They discover that he's been consuming the tainted spinach, which made him super strong but mutated him. They also find a photo proving that he had a wife and a child. Newspaper clippings are pasted in a scrapbook about a factory worker named Olive Oil who'd attempted to expose the contamination scandal, but vanished before the story could get a foothold. Now determined to make the story public, Dexter and Olivia find the exit, but are cornered by Sailor Man. He breaks Dexter's arm, but Olivia orders him to stop, which he inexplicably does, because Olivia reveals herself as Sailor Man and Olive Oil's daughter, which she hadn't known about until a year ago. There's no need for us to think through all of the process steps of this, right? As she tries to reason with her father, Joey, the guy with the gun that ran away from his girlfriend twice, shows back up, and he attacks the Sailor Man. Sailor Man lets Olivia and Dexter go. He rips Joey's arms off and then clubs him to death with it. Again, funny, but mostly gruesome. Olivia and Dexter escape. Outside, they meet Katie, gunshot but alive. The Sailor Man spared her twice, and she's called the police. And as the factory is cleared of the bodies, Olivia and Dexter briefly see Sailor Man at one of the windows, and they vow to return and help him. Later, as Alistair, the guy from the very beginning, the guy who's trying to sell everything, he visits, ranting about the now canceled development deal, vowing to demolish the factory himself before he is taken by surprise and killed by the Sailor Man. Credits. To be continued? The end? ? It's not great, but it is good. The gore effects are a bit too out there, and the attempts at horror are more funny than fear-filled, but I think the story is actually kind of decent. It works in a very disjointed, hey, this is rushed kind of way. Instead of thinking through, hey, Popeye is about to enter the public domain. Let's start working on this a couple of years ahead to make sure we got a good, solid story. Let's slapdash something together. That's its biggest fault. But it's still got some good bones. The nods to the original are fun little Easter eggs. I particularly enjoyed the Wimpy cameo earlier in the film, where he's trying to get a hamburger for free from the bar and grill. It could have been a bit better. A secondary villain that was more evil called Bluto. But most of these public domain movies are about twisting the hero, so I guess that's the way this had to go. Overall, it's worth at least one watch, since only one death is really a bit too much. But it's a proud B+ movie, which means that it earns its Be Like Me status with the possibility of even making it a yearly Halloween hang kind of movie. I could see, kind of like Justin's film, getting a group together, say, hey, we're going to have drinks and we're going to watch an intentionally bad movie. Let's do it. So, is there other business?
I don't think so.
No. All right. Don't forget to donate. The link is at geekcavepodcast.com, or you can find it extra-life.org. Just search for the Geek Cave Podcast or any one of our names, and we'll be there. With no other business, thanks to our sponsor, Gamefly. Check out news and reviews not on the podcast on the website. Join the Discord for fun conversation and tell your friends all about where to find us, including Podbean, Apple Podcast, Amazon, GoodPod, and so forth. Don't forget to check out our other offerings, including You Want Me to Watch What and Week 3. Then head over to our YouTube channel for even more offerings. For Kent Harris, our Adam West, the duly deputized. For Darren Wright, our Michael Keaton, the face of greatness. For Justin White, our Val Kilmer, stylish and slick. I'm Chad Savage, our George Clooney, and I'm deeply ashamed of this sign-off. Thanks for listening, and remember, everyone is a geek for something.